Τα παιδιά όπως είναι το μέλλον, πρέπει να δούμε το κλειδί. Στη ζωή θα κάνουμε και κάτι πρέπει να σας αρέσει. Εμένα μου αρέσει να κάνω. Όταν μου είναι πάρα πολλά ευχαριστημένος. Και ελπίζω και εσείς το ίδιο, μαζί μας έχουμε το μέλλον. Μπράβο.
Έφυγα από την Κύπρο, δεν είχαμε λόγο να πάμε. Ξαπήγαμε στην Αγγλία. Εγώ στην Κύπρο, πού θα δεξιάσω, ξέχασα τα λόγια μου λίγο, στην Κύπρο δεν θα δεξιάσω, σιγά σιγά να προσπαθήσω να το παραπάνω χωρίς να βοηθήσω να κάνω ό,τι μπορώ.
Very warm welcome to entrepreneur and philanthropist John Christodoulou.
Accepting the award on behalf of the John Christodoulou Foundation is Mr. Stavros Stavro, President of the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Angela Panayotou, representative of the John Christodoulou Foundation. Congratulations.
You know, it's nice to see somebody who's come from a place. Unfortunately, the tragic events of '74 left a big scar for, I think, the country and a lot of people, and certainly John being young at the time. But the fact that moving away, it has never left his heart, and you keep bringing me here.
Αυτά τα παιδιά που δεν θα νικήσουν, να μάθουν κάτι πάρα πολύ καλό. Άμα πέσεις 7 φορές, πρέπει να έρθεις πίσω 10 φορές. Και αυτόν το μήνυμα που θέλω να δω, αν δεν φακάς, δεν θα μάθεις. Έτσι είναι η ζωή. Η ζωή δεν είναι εύκολα. Πρέπει να πονάς πρώτα και ύστερα τις απόφασεις που να κάνεις μες στη ζωή σου θα σε βοηθήσουν πολλά. Και ελπίζω τα μωρά, τα παιδιά αυτό το σχολείο να περάσουν, να νικήσουν πάρα πολλά μες στη ζωή τους.
Είμαι δίπλα σας, μαζί σπάμε όλα τα ρεκόρ. Όταν είμαστε ρωμένοι και όταν υπάρχει αγάπη, σπάμε όλα τα ρεκόρ μαζί. Συγχαρητήρια σε όλους που είναι εδώ αυτή τη στιγμή. Κύπρος, Καβερέν!
Yanis, on behalf of Guinness World Records, it gives me immense pleasure to award this certificate to you and your organising team and all the participants today for achieving a brand new Guinness World Records
μέρα νύχτα ταρδευώ, στις χαρές σου και στις νύχτες θα με δω. Να ζήσει Κύπρος! Από την Πάφο στην Κερίλια κι αν το φαρώσει στη Λεμεσό με ενωμένο το νησί μας χωρίς τα όπλα και το στρατό στου πενταδάκτυλο τα κάστρα να μην φωτίσουμε ξανά και ελευθερία τραγουδάμε Κύπρος πατρίδα μου γλυκιά ελεύθερος για μια ζωή, ελεύθερος για μια ζωή, ελεύθερος για μια ζωή.
Πάντα να έχουμε ειρήνη, αγάπη και κάτι άλλο που μου αρέσει πολλά είναι ομόνοια.
Let's welcome John Christodoulou.
Kalispera. Good evening. There's a lot to say, but I'm going to cut it as short as I can. I want to thank everybody for making the effort to come here. I've got some friends that have come here. I've got family, and obviously the students, professors. I thank you for your time. You've got to understand that the video you just saw, it's not just me. There's people in that video that you saw that helped, whether it's your team, whether it's outside influence. When we broke the Guinness Book of Record, it wasn't, I know it wasn't just for me, it was the fact that Konstantinos Agiros was singing and we just happened to give a free ticket. So maybe that's the entrepreneurial side of me, but I wanted to break the record and we broke it. Cyprus broke it, which is really more important. I understand we've got 40%, I think Cypriots, yeah? 20% from Greece and the rest are, I believe, other places. Why did you come here today? I don't know why you came. You've got your reasons. So, can you put your hands up if it's for business reasons? Can I see who's come here for business reasons? Okay. How about the reason to make money? There's more hands for money. How many came here just to be nosy, to hear what I've got to say? That's the biggest. Okay. The ones that didn't put their hands up, go home because I'm not wasting my time. Okay. The roots, because this is where everything starts from, the roots. Τις ρίζες σου, που ήρθες, τι είναι η ιστορία. Αυτόν, this is very important. It's to understand your family, the values, what they experienced. The heritage of your background makes you who you are. And you have to value this, because if you don't, you will go wrong 101%.
there's a lot of, you'll find that the story of starting a business and having friendship, it's very, very difficult. I prefer not to do business with friends because it can damage the relationship. And creating friends is not easy. It's not easy because as you get more successful, you have to ask, why are they here? Are they here because of the money? Are they here because of you being who you are? Are they here because they want to copy you? It doesn't matter if somebody wants to copy you. I copy other business people all the time. But you need to have people that are real. And this is what makes the difference of spending your time with somebody who you're not wasting. Because the hours, the days, the years go past, and you need to have a quality life with the right people. In my experience, because I've always been a gambler and I've tried to control the odds, and at the same breath, each time I've gambled, and if I was going to lose, I would lose very little, which means it's become a lesson. And it hasn't affected my future dreams to what I want to achieve. I speak to myself. I don't know if you guys speak to yourself a lot. I always talk to myself. And every time there's a new idea that I think of what to do, I try to work it out if it's a good idea or a bad idea. And you know, your subconscious mind, you're talking to yourself regularly. When I talk to myself, he's my best friend because he tells me the truth. And if I come up with a bad idea, he says to me inside me, Malaga. He tries to steer me in the right way. I mean, not many people can call me Malaga. I mean, my parents can call me what they like, but what I'm trying to say is you have to be honest with yourself. Stay away from trouble and always try to analyze and put the positive and the negative of doing something, because it can mess you up long term. Do you believe one decision can change your whole life? I certainly do. In my younger days, before I got married, I used to say this quite a lot. I can't believe I'm going to tell you, but I'll tell you. So we're in a club and you meet pretty girls, etc. I used to say to a pretty girl, do you believe one decision can change your whole life? And if she said yeah, I would say, well, give me your phone number. And my wife doesn't know that. She's going to find out now. I've experienced a lot with street life because my family didn't have enough money to send me to a university like this. What I've seen today is amazing, and I wasn't one for study. I wasn't one for going to university. My father wanted me to be a doctor, engineer, etc. But I couldn't wait to go outside in the jungle, the world, to learn. But what I've seen today, I honestly say that I would send my kids here if they wanted to go to university. The facilities are genuinely amazing. I'm not saying, I genuinely mean what I'm saying. It's amazing, honestly. Going back to growing in life
and mixing with people, you need to, and I'm going to swear, but it is what it is. Τα σκατά δεν μπορείς να τα λύσεις. You cannot polish shit. Stay away from rubbish, negativity. Stay away from people who bring you down. You know, you have to stay positive, because it's a big challenge to get out in this world. And you're going to meet people who take drugs, for sure, and I'm sure you've met them. But, you know, if you want to put your hands up, who's taking drugs in this room? Okay, the teachers are not looking, so quickly put your hands up. I'm sure you have, right? I'm sure you tried. It's the worst thing you can do. For me, I want to stay in control with my destiny, how I think, what I do. I don't want to embarrass myself, but at the same breath, I don't want to embarrass my family. And not just my family, my father, anybody related to me. So, alcohol. I'm sure, you know, we all drink, but in moderation, it's good to let go. But to take drugs, to take alcohol, to gamble. Gambling, we gamble every day, but isn't it nice? You know, you're going to go to a casino, they have the odds, they prepare everything. They're there to make money. They're not there to give you money. So you have to, whatever business you do, you gamble outside of the casino, but you control the odds if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. So if you point to me somebody who's been successful, that takes drugs, drinks a lot, and gambles, maybe they've been successful in the beginning, but after it's a complete disaster. I guarantee, I've seen it. I've been introduced to try to take drugs, and I was called a chicken, I was called many things, and this to me, for me, it's a dangerous area, and the more you control your mind, the more success you're going to have. My first job, okay, so I left school, and I'm ashamed to say my father paid for me to go to university, to be an engineer, and I didn't go. I went for 1 or 2 lessons. It was not me, and I felt as I was wasting my time. And it worked out. The first few sessions were free, and then you would give the money. I had the courage to say to him, look, it's not for me, I'm not going to go. So I was walking down Wood Green Shopping Centre, and a very long story how I became a jeweller, very short, is that on the glimpse of my eye, I saw from the job centre, diamond mounter, trainee. I thought, okay, diamonds is. I was trying to find what I want to do, who I want to be. And diamond mounter caught my eye. I went for the interview, and the guy said, okay, what do you know about making jewellery? How do you know how to mount the diamond? I said, look, at school, I was good at woodwork and I was good at metalwork. And gold is metal, so I can make some good shapes from it. The interview went well, and then I went to, he said, can you go and get some references from your teachers? I went to my teacher at school for the woodwork. The metalwork, I got good references. I came, I showed them. So, okay, if it was for me, I would give you the job, but I want you to meet my brother. I met his brother. The interview went really badly because
he said, you're just going to come here, learn the business, and then go. I said, look, I am ambitious, but right now, I'm only 16. What am I going to do? I can't run a business on my own. Anyway, David, who was the older brother, decided to take me on. He took me on. I really loved the trade. I was making initially hot chocolates, coffee for the staff, and I was sitting down and I was learning how to, we used to cut copper into various shapes. But if it came to going to polish rings and picking up things and doing the odd jobs, I would be the odd job guy. And one decision can change your whole life. This is what happened. I went to, I always had this vision of James Dean. I don't know if you know the picture. Is where he's walking down New York and he's got like a tweed coat and he's smoking a cigarette, and it was raining, and I like that coat a lot. And there's a shop in Covent Garden called Flip, and Flip sells second-hand clothes. So I was making £25 a week as a jeweler, and this coat was £45. So that's a lot of money. Genuinely, it would cost about £300-400. Anyway, so I bought it. I came in the next day, and I was showing off. And I said, look at my coat. And my boss, David, said, wow, that's a nice coat, John. Where'd you get it from? I explained. And there was an Australian guy. Sorry, not Australian, New Zealand guy. And he looked at me funny. He never liked me. I had no idea why. But I was next to him when I was making jewelry. And I'm being polite, I'm getting on with him. And it was years and years ago when Wham came on, Wham, George Michael. And I said to everybody listening to the song, I said, this guy is going to be unbelievable, he's going to be very successful. And the New Zealand guy, Richard, said, nah, he's going to fail just like the rest of them. I said, look, this guy's Cypriot, for sure he's going to make it. Anyway, I went to go home that night, I went to get my coat to put it on, and I found a hole. The hole was like this. And I thought, how did this happen? So I tasted the stuff that was on the coat. It was acid. We use acid to clean jewelry. And I tell you, I could not sleep that night. I thought, what am I going to do? If I beat him up, I've lost my job. I have to do something though. I cannot, this is my dream coat. So I couldn't make my mind up, and I went to work. And like usual, my boss wants a coffee. Richard, this New Zealand guy, wants a hot chocolate. But I had to go to the shops first, and I bought laxatives. I put 7 laxatives in this hot chocolate. The guy was in hospital. So all you professors, when you ask for a coffee to your students, be careful. Anyway, I confronted my boss. I said, look, David, it was me. I put laxatives in his hot chocolate. He said, you Greek so-and-so. I said, look, I'm sorry. I had to do it. Look what he did to my coat. He said, who's going to fix all this work that we've got going on? I said, leave it to me. Give me literally 2 months and I'll be as good as him, and he's been with you 2 years. He said, no way. I said, trust me, I don't want to raise. You're not going to pay him. I will do the same work. Just give me the opportunity. He said, oh, you better sit down and get on with it. I became better than him, literally within weeks, because I had to make sure that I didn't want to interrupt the business that my boss had, who gave me the opportunity. That was one very good lesson.
but he could have gone the wrong way. That was one decision. But something else happened. My boss ordered diamonds, and those diamonds were a lot of money. And the customer, the customer cancelled the order. So my boss had to come up with all this money. What happened? He had to close the company. All of a sudden, I'm jobless. No job. Now, everybody knows in Hatton Garden there's jewelry shops, workshops, and the majority are Jewish, and I've gone to literally 95 jobs interviews, 95, and I didn't get a job. And I know why. It wasn't because I wasn't good enough, it's because I wasn't Jewish. But the Cypriots are very similar. I'm Cypriot, oh, he's Jewish, give him an Efkeria, which is similar to what the Cypriots do. I don't have a problem with the Jewish business companies. So I sat somewhere at a coffee place at St. John's Street, and I looked up and I thought, what am I going to do? I've got to find a solution, because if I don't, I've wasted my career in jewellery. And I see a sign outside the shop to let, a workshop to let. So, okay, maybe I should start my own business. I went inside, I knocked on the door, this Fruma, a Jewish guy with his hair, I said, you've got a shop to let, so can I have a look? He said, yeah, I can show you now. We went upstairs, it was £45 a week. I said, look, I like it, I'll take it, but I can only give you £15 a week, and I'd like you to give me repairs at a value of £30 a week. And I will repair your jewellery cheaper than what you're paying now. The bottom line is, he gave me the unit, and I got so busy. Again, I'll tell you the story very quickly because it can go on forever. I got so much business from him, it came literally to £100 a week. So I was making money, I had no rent to pay. But then I thought, how do I expand? I went to all the places that I went for interviews, and I made a card. And I said, jewellery repairs. Now, the way that I presented it was that it's like I'm working for a big corporation. It wasn't, it was just me. And I said to every company, I said, I can repair your jewellery for this price. Now, we all like a deal. The Jews like a deal. They gave me all their businesses. All of a sudden, I'm turning over 3,500 to 4,000 a week. I'm literally a kid. Okay, what do I do now? I'm loving what I do. Where is my next step? Let's open up a jewelry shop. The biggest jewelry shop in North London. I opened a jewelry shop. Let's make my own watches. I went to Hong Kong. I made my own watch, and it was, I wanted to make it sound Italian. So I called it, and a bit French, so I called it Gianni Le Coupe. I took a flight to Hong Kong, and this guy showed me around his factory, and business was tight, but at that time I didn't have a loan from a bank. But then when I went to make the order, they said I should have a letter of bank guarantee. How do I do that? I had to go and convince my bank manager, this is what I was going to buy the watches for, this is what I was going to sell them for. And the bank gave me the bank guarantee. and I had the watches coming in. And this is something that happened that brought a massive value to my business way of thinking. All the watches were sold. I went to give another order, and the order was 3 times more. It was a lot of money. And I said to my assistant at the time, can you please send the bank, we're going to order this amount of watches, and the company wanted to see the letter of credit. She filled out the letter of credit, she sent it to the company that makes the watches, but it wasn't approved by the bank. So I'm looking at the bank balance and I'm saying, we shouldn't have all this money. So I said to her, come here, what's going on? This money should be held as security for the bank guarantee. And the lady said, well, I've sent the letter of credit. Who did you send it to? To the company, not the bank. And then I called the company in Hong Kong. I said, look, there's been a problem. And he said, oh, we didn't notice, this was from the bank. Please, can you send us the money? We sent them the money. All of a sudden, my credit line, because the Chinese people showed big trust in us, it went up to £200,000. Now, imagine 42 years ago, 41 years ago, to have 200,000 is big value for me. I didn't have to pay an overdraft, and all of a sudden, I've got a massive credit line. I'll give you another story very quickly. I sold the biggest amount to one lady, who was an Arab lady. It was for 1.7 million. It cost me 650,000. And it should have finished in 5 months. It took more than a year. It was really painful to listen to her changing her idea and, oh, do this and this, and now I want it this way, but I had to be patient. I could keep my mouth shut until that deal happened. That deal made me, but it put me off jewelry. Because jewelry, it's nice to have something that sparkles, but it's not real. I sold the diamond suite, and from then on, I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to sell my business, everything to do with jewelry. I want to start something else. When I made that big, huge sale, I decided to buy an apartment. Literally 5 to 6 months, I made 27,000. And what did I do? All I did was refurbish the studio apartment. That apartment made me think, right, real estate. Real estate, what can I do when I'm sleeping and I'm making money? So I don't have to use my hands. What can I do? Real estate. So I decided to get into real estate. So with a couple of million in my pocket, I wanted to learn the building trade. I want to have a job as a labourer. A labourer, I don't know if you guys know what that is. He's a guy that goes into a building site, lifts up cement, bricks, etc., etc. But I was always speaking to the carpenters, to the plumbers, to the skilled people. Why did I do that? I wanted to learn everything that they know. I hope they're not Jewish. That was something I said. Okay. So I became a labourer, and I loved it. I really enjoyed construction, and I thought, this is the business I want to be. So if you're doing something and you don't like it, just put up with it. Come to a certain level and start making your mind up. What is it that you want to do? Because there's making money and there's being happy. Happy is way above anything, because I'm happy every day I go into work. However tough it is, I'm loving it. And this is my work, I'm enjoying it. If you can choose something that you love, it's paramount as far as I'm concerned, because you're enjoying yourself all the time. And I want to make sure, I'm trying to take you to the path of my age and my experience, what I did. And I've gone forward without reading my notes, but I've come to something that you may think maybe is too harsh. This will come shortly. I decided to, I bought a magistrate's court building. This magistrate's court building didn't have planning, and I decided to call it St. John's Court. And I finished it very, very quickly. The bank was so impressed, they decided, John, do you want some more money to do your next project? Then I went and purchased used to be, years ago, a cinema. So this was the biggest, something, can you imagine, you're not really skilled, you've gone through the experience, you believe you can do what you want to do. And part of the development, they said to me, John, don't trust the people you're buying from, because they're not good people, because they're going to tell you lies. I said, what lies can they tell me? My lawyers are checking everything. I agreed the price, and when it came to signing, they said to me, sorry, the tenant that you've got inside, you have to take him with you. But I said, my lawyer said, look, it's supposed to be vacant possession. How's my client going to build this? So I thought, damn, I've got my builders where they're ready to go. What am I going to do? The price was 1.9 million. And I thought to myself, I've got to find another deal. But before I do, let me go and see the tenant that's inside. And I went to see who it was, and there was this big guy, bald head, his name was Steve, tattoos everywhere. And I thought, Steve, thanks for meeting me, but I said, you and me are going to have a problem. He said, why are we going to have a problem? I said, because I'm going to start the construction, I'm going to make a lot of mess, and you have to get out. He said, no one's told me this. I said, I'm going to be the new buyer. And I've come to you to do this nicely. Because if I buy this building, I'll go to court, I'm going to get you out. I said, I want to buy your business, I want you to get out, and I'm willing to do this deal very quickly, and I'll come and bring you the cash. He said, well, I've got a partner, I've got to speak to them, I said, look, I'm going to come tomorrow. This is your only opportunity. As I said, I don't want to fight with you. I want to do these things properly. He said, how much are you going to give me? I said, I'll give you 35,000 and then you go. He said, 35,000? That's all I'm going to give you. So I called my lawyer and I said to him, tell them we're not going to pay 1.9, we're going to pay 1.5. And we'll take the tenant with. So, if I manage to get this sorted out, it would be amazing. The guy turns up the next day and he said, I've spoken to my partner, we'll take 45,000. I said, no, I'll give you 40. And be ready, have everything out. We shook hands. I called my lawyer, I said, tell the guys we're buying everything, the building from. I said, because they said no to the 1.5. They agreed 1.550. And that was a negative situation. And I managed to find an answer. And ultimately, as I was giving the cash to the guy because he took everything out, I said to my lawyer, exchange contracts. And there was a massive saving of 405,000 from that. And I'm not standing here because I pretend to be cleverer than you guys. I think we're all equal. You're all clever. But to make you different than someone else, I think you have to find challenges within your life. And when you do, if you want it bad enough, you have to want it bad enough to make it happen. People ask me, how comes you want it bad enough? I said, look, I can't explain it, but it's within something I want to achieve. It's not about the money, it's the game. And the game, I love the game. I'm addicted. We said drugs. I'm addicted to business. I'm addicted to doing what I do. And can you imagine you're in the sea and all of a sudden you've gone underwater. You need oxygen. That oxygen that you need, you want it bad. But can you imagine a minute goes past and then you don't have oxygen? 2 minutes go past, no oxygen. You want the oxygen. So you have to want what you do bad enough. Because if you don't want it, don't waste your time. Do not waste your time because you're not going to succeed. This is guaranteed. If you want something that you visualize yourself being, my dreams were bigger than what I've created, because my dreams have always been, I want to achieve this. Every 5 years I'll give myself big goals, what to do. Whether it's to buy a plane or to buy a bigger boat, I need to aim for something. I want to build something. I want to do this. I want to do that. Environmental city, etc., etc. Everything that comes into my head, I managed to achieve 75%. The other 25-30% is still there because I need to find the right time. But you will for sure, you heard me say earlier on, you will have issues. You will definitely 100% have negative things happen to you. But it's a matter of how you pick yourself up. You say, no, this is something that will happen. And it's going to happen purely because I want to do it. You have to want to do this. The time you spend in business and the time that you put the effort into what you do, it's so much hard work. You heard me say that the tomatoes, the attention to detail, you will not, if you don't do this properly, you will not have the time to see your family. This is the worst thing that I hate for me. Not having enough time to see my parents, my family, my kids. Because you have to sacrifice a lot of pain, a lot of not taking your kids to school, traveling. That's why I stopped doing business in America, because it's too far to travel. I'll stay in Europe. I could be there in 3-4 hours. But I admire the person that wants to spend more time with his family than me, because he's a true man, because he wants to be with his kids. Whatever, 9 to 5 jobs, he's spending more time. Who's got the quality life? Many times I'm sitting at my office in Monaco and I look and I see the boats in there. And I know who the owners are. during the week. They're all going out with their boats. I'm sitting like a rattle in the office. I'm thinking, hey, what are you doing? Be an exo. Go out. He said, during the week, I can't afford to go during the week out. I've got contracts to look at. I've got things to take care of. If I tell you it takes so much of your time. I'm talking very early. My guys are here, I think. They know what time I have to be in the office, what time I leave. I'm always pretty much the last to go. But you have to give your sacrifices because it's not going to happen at all. There's no easy money. You can't make money and have your dream and say, I'm going to do this big deal, and I'm going to make so much money. It's not going to work like that. If you're aiming for this big dream, just to do one deal, forget about it. You're wasting your time. It's about creating a foundation where it's solid. You have the right team, you have the right banks, and everything else slowly follows. Because there's nothing wrong with having a big dream, but it ain't going to happen overnight. You have to go through this pain. And this pain, I'm talking about not being at home, not going out with your friends, not drinking, no restaurants, solid in the office. You have to be very, very honest and tell people when you're doing business the whole truth. Why? Because if they believe in you, they want to do more business with you. And I'm talking about, say, the banks. The banks have the money. They need to lend the money. Who are they going to give it to? They're going to give it to people. Number one, it's not about the deal. It's about you. They're going to give it to you. And secondly, it's about the deal. And if they feel comfortable, you will have so much opportunity from the banks to give it to you. Because if they don't utilize their funds, they're like you. They need to make money, but they need to have the trust. No matter what situation you go through, you have to always pay your loans, because this is again another part of success. I could no way have made it if I never had the loans that I had and what I've got right now. Because literally, I'm proud to say I could go and purchase something for over $1 billion. And that's not easy to say, but I can do it because they have faith in me. As long as the deal works, they will give me the money, and then they will look at the deal. There's a particular property, when I gave you the story earlier on, where I worked as a jeweler and I was learning jewellery, and this property came up in the auction. By that time, I created really good relationships with the bank, and the building where I worked as a jeweler, it came up for sale. So I went to the auction, and I used more my heart to buy this building than my brain, because I never had a vision what I was going to do with it, and I didn't want to break it, because this is where I started, and I didn't want to damage it because it was a workshop, but I still wanted it. So I go to the auction, I buy it for 8.8 million, and I've got the building. What shall I do with it? I couldn't make my mind up. So I kept collecting the rent, and whilst I'm getting the rent, literally, I would say 8 years, 9 years later, somebody came to me, and I hate selling property, and selling property to something where I started as a jeweler, it was difficult, but I sold it for 29 million. And that's a massive, you've got to learn to say, Sikime, just let it go, because that gives you the power to make sure you can go, put it in the bank, and you can buy something else. I bought a building with that money for over 100 million. So it's good to use your heart, but sometimes you have to say, that's enough. And there's a part of me that says you should never have sold it, but you should forget and move on, because you can't change things. You can learn things. For me, as I said earlier, you guys, we're all smart as each other, but I had that experience now to make quick decisions, and those decisions helped me get into buying bigger real estate and bigger properties. Maybe this is the time to show the other part of the video, just to give you an indication of this is not all my buildings. Each one has a story. Perhaps I'm going to stop it when each property comes up, so I can tell you a bit about it, because each deal has its own story. Anybody who knows Manchester, this is the Hilton Hotel. And why did I buy it? It's an opportunity that came along, because the guy who built it, he went bust. And who gave me this deal? The bank gave me this deal, because they had the trust in me, not the deal. They had the trust in me to go in there and rescue this building. This is just one example. Maybe it's easier if I do Benjamin. No, just press this on there. Was the same builder that owned the other one. So two of his real estate, in fact there was three, there was one in Birmingham, one in Liverpool, one in Manchester. And I didn't want to go to Birmingham. And again, the bank gave me the opportunity. John's Court, I mentioned it earlier, this was one of my first developments. I bought it, used to be a magistrate's court, and I turned it into apartments. But you'll see, I bought the buildings next door. So one day, not this one, the ones next door, I'm going to knock it down and build about 1,500 homes. This is Islington, Upper Street. I love this area. So easy to rent out. Very, very easy. And I refurbished the buildings, I never built them. But I bought them that needed repairing. And automatically, I would rent them out. I would say I've had these for 25 years. The rent has increased at least 3 times from the day of purchase. This is a building, used to be a hostel. Actually, because Stalin, the Russian Prime Minister, stayed in this building because he wanted to be amongst the people, with the communities. It's a long story. George Orwell was the writer. Many famous people have stayed there. Anyway, so I bought this, and if you look at the red brick everywhere, everything else inside was, I had to knock it down and build it. Again, with planning permission. This was around 14 million to buy and another 15 million to develop. There's 135 apartments in there, each worth average $1 million. So you can do the maths from there. Former Four Seasons, and I liked the design so much, I copied the same shape of the building and created the logo for the Yanis Group. It finishes here. I can't believe the time, I'm sorry. Was it on time, really? Okay, I had so much to say, but another time. Where would you like me to
For a
go?
couple of questions, you will have a couple of questions.
Καλησπέρα, Γιάννη. Εδώ, από Πάφο. Why did you not go to the Birmingham if you got proposed in Birmingham back then? Was due to the timing? And the question is also, how do you get the sense of the timing when it's the right timing to buy and not?
Okay. It was the time that I didn't
buy any property, apart from Southend, I didn't buy any property outside of London. And London, to me, you can trade a lot more easier. I was taking a gamble going to Manchester, but it was a big city. And then, at the same breath, I went to Liverpool. I didn't want to take the extra risk to go Birmingham. In hindsight, I was right, because if you know, Birmingham Council went bust recently.
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't, see that, but this is the reason why I didn't want to expand outside of London too much, because of the risk of being too exposed. I hope that answers your question.
Hello, my name is Cypriot, and I want to ask you two questions in one. The first scale is, how do you choose your friends? What qualities these people has to have? And the second one is, how do you choose your wife?
They're good, very good questions. The first one, when I had my jewellery and I started making some money, the business of jewellery is birthdays, Christmas, engagements, wedding rings. But there's a lot of free time. So I was bored and I said, I looked at my phone and I said, I'm going to pretend I've got a problem and I need money. And I called 5 of my friends that I always hang around with. And I said, I need £30,000. One said yes, let me think about it. The other one said yes, I'm going to bring it. The other one says I can get it, but I have to ask someone, etc., etc. At the end, only one person brought me the cash. And I said to him, look, thank you. I don't really need the money. I've sorted myself now. And then I told him the true story after. It's very, very, very difficult. So this is one example. With my wife, she went through hell. See these flowers, they're not real, are they? Are they real? They're plastic, isn't it? Huh? And only for now. Okay, well, I said to my wife, don't expect me, this is before we got married, don't expect me to buy you flowers because they're too expensive and they die. Don't expect me to be romantic. I don't have time to spend with you. I have to travel, I have to go to America, I have to do this. We have to be, if we're going to get married, to be in a church. I want 6 kids. I gave her everything that I want, not what she wants. And she said to me something clever. She was either smarter than me, I don't know what it was. She goes, all I want to do is be with you. Now, when somebody tells you that, what are you going to do? I would have a good week and I would sell, do a good deal on the real estate, and I'll say, here's some money, spend it on clothes. So I wanted to see where she would spend it, Chanel or very expensive. And after a month or two, I see she's still wearing the same clothes. Why isn't she? I said, what happened? She goes, look, I can't spend the money on these clothes. She said, I can't get myself to do it. And I thought, maybe this one is a good one. But I promise you, choosing, if anybody here, the boyfriend or girlfriend, gives you attitude, get rid of them. You have to change your partner, because if you're going to genuinely be with that person, you need to get supported, okay? And for me, a woman's job is more important, because eventually they have to look after the kids. And you not being at home, you need the right person. So, any negativity, friends or future wife, you have to do many tests. Hi, το όνομα σου? Γεια σου Γιώργο.